East London, 1960s. Glamour and grit collide on every corner. But beneath the champagne fizz and flashbulbs, the city's most feared men are writing their own violent legacy. Their names? Ronnie and Reggie Kray, twin brothers, nightclub owners, and cold-blooded gangsters. To the world, they're legends. To the streets, they're nightmares. And this is how their empire rose and fell. It's an ordinary morning, at least as ordinary as it gets in the Kray world. Reggie Kray steps outside, a charming grin on his face, carrying a tray of tea. Not for his friends, for the cops. Specifically, for Detective Nipper Reed, the man who's been tailing him for months. Reggie hands over the tea with a cheeky smirk, mocks the officers for watching him instead of chasing real criminals, and strolls off like he owns the pavement. He's not hiding. He's daring them to try and catch him. But something's off. As Reggie heads to his car, he notices his driver, Frank, is missing. In his place is Albie, one of their men, who casually mentions Frank didn't show. Suspicious but composed, Reggie decides to pay Frank a visit. The trip takes a turn when he meets Frank's sister, Frances. She's sharp, beautiful, and clearly unimpressed by Reggie's charm, though not immune to it. Their flirtation is cut short by a dagger-eyed glare from Frances's mother, who sends her daughter back inside before things can spark. Reggie leaves intrigued, his curiosity piqued not just by Frank's absence, but by Frances's presence. Eventually, Reggie tracks down Frank, but all he wants to talk about is Frances. That charming mask Reggie wears so well begins to slip later that day, when he and Albie peel off into an alley, shaking their police tail with ease. Nipper chases, but the Krays are always one step ahead. They've got other plans, and those plans involve Reggie's twin brother. Ronnie Kray is locked away in a mental institution, declared insane after a violent assault. But Reggie wants him out. The brothers meet inside the ward. Ron rambles about stealing food by controlling minds. Reggie pretends to be fascinated, but he knows the truth. Ron's mental state is a ticking time bomb. Still, Reggie pressures the psychiatrist. The message is clear. Release Ron, or else. Days later, the doctor folds. Ron is sent home with a warning and a bottle of medication. Meanwhile, Reggie is still chasing Frances. Against her mother's warnings, she agrees to a date. Reggie takes her to his club, where glittering lights, celebrities, and gangsters rub shoulders like it's normal. He calls it a mix people can't resist. But business never sleeps. During their date, Reggie is pulled aside. One of his men, Jack, has been skimming from drug profits. Reggie doesn't shout. He offers Jack a cigarette, then decks him with a punch and a death threat, all while keeping his smile intact. Then he returns to the table, like nothing happened. Reggie decides it's time Frances meets his brother. They drive to a forest where Ron now lives in a caravan. Frances sees a man leaving, and Ron casually mentions he prefers men, then launches into an unfiltered monologue about sex and seizing power. Frances is shaken. It's her first glimpse at the monster behind the myth. But trouble brews elsewhere. South of the river, a rival gang, the Richardsons, aren't happy. One of Reggie's men crossed into their turf. Their response is savage. A car tries to mow Reggie down. He survives, barely. The Kray retaliation is explosive. A car plows into the Richardson restaurant. The message, "Don't ever touch the Krays." The Richardsons send a man named George to smooth things over, but his idea of peace talks is to mock Ron's mental health. Ron doesn't take kindly. The Krays still show up for the meeting, knowing it's a trap. Surrounded by Richardson thugs, Ron acts like he's carrying a gun, rants wildly, and freaks everyone out. While he rants, Reggie casually pours a beer. Then chaos. Ron storms out, then comes back with 2 hammers. Reggie pulls brass knuckles. A bar fight erupts. Screams. Blood. Ron bites someone's face. When it ends, the Richardson crew is demolished. The Krays walk out, victorious and untouchable. With the Richardsons crushed and Charlie Richardson behind bars, the Krays shift gears. Time to clean up the image. They bring in Leslie Payne, a smooth-talking businessman who builds front companies to launder money. He talks a casino owner into selling without violence, just pressure and charm. Reggie sees Leslie as a genius. Ron sees him as a threat, especially when Leslie says "we" like he's part of the family. Then comes big news. The American mafia wants in. A meeting is arranged. The Americans offer a 60-40 deal, in their favor. Reggie demands 50-50. They agree. Drinks are poured. Ron ruins the mood by talking about his sex life. The Americans laugh nervously, but warning signs are flashing. The Kray empire explodes with success. Celebrities fill the clubs. Politicians rub elbows with murderers. Francis is swept into the dream. But Ron's madness deepens. He brings a donkey to the casino. His meds aren't working. Then Reggie's old conviction is upheld. He's sent back to jail. Inside, Reggie is ambushed by guards. He retaliates, traps one with stolen cuffs, beats him. Even locked up, Reggie's a king. On the outside, Ron is unraveling. He picks fights with Leslie, tantrums over business, and can't hide his hatred for playing legit. Frances visits Reggie. She begs him to quit the life. He promises, but his promises have blood on them. Ron, meanwhile, hijacks the club stage, insults the guests, and burns every bridge left. Leslie quits. Ron threatens to kill him. Reggie gets out. He goes to Frances and proposes. She says yes. A moment of peace, shaky but real. But back at the club, it's falling apart. Ron's behavior has driven everyone off. The final straw? A massive tax bill. Reggie confronts him. They brawl. Fists, furniture, fury. Frances watches it all, horrified. She walks away. Still, the wedding goes ahead. Quiet. Tense. Reggie tries to believe this is a new beginning. But Ron sulks on the sidelines, raging at being left behind. Without Leslie's brains, the Kray empire starts crumbling. Debts mount, partners vanish, the Americans go quiet. Reggie hustles to keep it afloat, but Ron ruins deal after deal, offending clients, ranting in public, spooking investors. Then a rival gangster, George Cornell, laughs at Ron, calls him a fat poof. Days later, Ron walks into a crowded pub and shoots George in the head. Dozens of witnesses. Ron just walks out. The Krays are no longer protected by silence. Frances is breaking. She begs Reggie to run away with her. He says he will, but she doesn't believe him anymore. She swallows pills and slips away in her sleep. Reggie is gutted. The grief turns to rage. Then comes Jack the Hat McVitie, a Kray associate who's become a liability. Ron says Jack has to go. Reggie resists, until Jack insults Frances's name. That's it. They lure Jack to a party. Reggie walks in with a knife. He stabs Jack to death in front of everyone. No cleanup, no mercy. That murder shatters what's left of their empire. Jack's body disappears, but everyone knows. Allies vanish. Politicians go silent. Scotland Yard launches a real investigation. No bribes, no warnings. The Krays become paranoid. Every knock at the door feels like the end. Then it is. In one massive sweep, police arrest the twins and their top men. The trial is a spectacle. Press, cameras, outrage. But the evidence is stacked sky high. Murders, witnesses, brutality. The sentence, life in prison. Ron is declared insane, locked away in a psychiatric hospital. Reggie is sent to maximum security. The Krays are no longer kings, just ghosts. Years pass. People still whisper about them. Movies are made. Books are written. Some idolize them. Others damn them. But in truth, they were just two brothers, bonded by blood and madness, who believed they could own a city and lost everything trying. Because the Krays didn't go down in a hail of bullets, they died slowly, alone, forgotten. Once kings, now shadows.